Once upon a time in a faraway kingdom, there was a little boy named Benny who lived with his parents and his little sister. Benny's parents were strict and told him not to go anywhere after sunset. But one day, Benny decided to break the rules and sneak out of his house to explore the town after dark. As he was walking down a dark and narrow alley, he heard the sound of drums and singing. He followed the noise and found a big, colorful tent. Inside the tent, he saw all sorts of strange and wonderful things. There were talking parrots that could tell fortunes, furry creatures that looked like walking carpets, and even a man selling bottled moonlight. But then he saw something that made his eyes pop. A merchant was showing off a magic lamp that looked like an ordinary oil lamp until you rubbed it. And when he rubbed it, a giant green snake came out of the lamp and said, "I am the great genie of the lamp. And for helping me escape from the lamp, I will grant you 3 wishes." But before Benny could even think of what to wish for, the genie disappeared with a poof. Benny looked around, but he couldn't find the merchant anywhere. So he decided to go home before his parents noticed he was missing. On his way home, Benny met a friendly old woman who asked him what was in the colorful tent. Benny told her everything, including the part about the magic lamp and the genie. The old woman smiled and said, "Ah, you must be talking about the floating market. It only appears once a year on the night of the full moon, and it's full of magical things and mystical creatures. But be careful, child, not everything is as it seems in that market. Some merchants are tricksters and will do anything to make a profit." Before Benny could ask what she meant by that, the old woman disappeared, leaving Benny even more confused than before. But he didn't have time to think about it because he had just reached his house and he didn't want his parents to know he had been out. The next night, Benny couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about the floating market and the magic lamp. Finally, his curiosity got the best of him, and he decided to go back to the market and find the merchant with the lamp. He put on a dark hooded cloak so his parents wouldn't recognize him and snuck out of the house. As he walked through the dark streets, he heard the same drums and singing from the previous night. He followed the sounds and found the same tent. But this time, there were even more people inside. Benny looked around and saw many strange and wonderful things. There were merchants selling all kinds of bizarre items like jars of fireflies, boxes of laughter, and even a wheel of cheese that was so big it needed for men to roll it. Then he saw the merchant with the magic lamp. He was busy arguing with a customer who had just bought the lamp and was complaining that it wasn't working. The merchant just laughed and said, "That's how it works, my dear fellow. You have to treat the genies with respect if you want them to do your bidding. Now get out of here before I kick you out." Benny was shocked. This merchant wasn't a nice guy. After the customer left, Benny approached the merchant and asked, "How much for the lamp?" The merchant looked at Benny and said, "For you, my young friend, I will let it go for 100 gold coins." Benny didn't have that much money, but he wanted the lamp so badly, he took off his cloak, revealing his royal clothes underneath. "I'm Benny, prince of this kingdom, and I want you to know that you won't be making any profits off me." The merchant's eyes popped wide open when he saw Benny's royal insignia. He quickly apologized for his bad attitude and said, "Of course, Your Highness, you can have the lamp for free." He handed the lamp to Benny and said, "Here you go, Your Highness. May it bring you much joy." Benny took the lamp home with him and hid it under his pillow. That night, he dreamed of a magical genie who granted him wishes and took him on exciting adventures. But when he woke up, he realized it was just a dream. Disappointed, he threw the lamp on the floor and went to get dressed for the day. As he picked up the lamp, he felt something move inside. He rubbed it, and suddenly a giant green snake came out. Well, looks like someone doesn't know how to treat a genie," the genie said with a mischievous grin. "Since you threw my master's lamp on the ground, I'm afraid I must punish you." The genie waved his magic wand and turned Benny into a frog. Now hop on your way, little prince, and don't come crying to me when you can't find your way back home, the genie said with a wicked laugh. And with that, the genie vanished, leaving Benny trapped in his frog form. Benny hopped out of the window and fell into the river. He swam to the bank and sat down, wondering how he would ever get back to his human form. Suddenly, he heard a familiar voice. Well, if it isn't a little frog sitting on a log, the voice said. It was the mysterious old woman from the market. Don't worry, Benny, she said kindly. I'll help you break the curse. But you must promise to never go to the floating market again. Benny agreed, and the old woman waved her magic wand. In a flash, he was back in his human form. He thanked the old woman and ran as fast as he could to get home before his parents noticed he was missing. From that day on, Benny never went to the floating market again, and he lived happily ever after with his parents and his little sister.